The shuttle was cramped, its recycled air carrying the faint tang of machinery and processed oxygen. Marcus Chen had been translating for 18 straight hours, his brain running on nothing but energy rations and stubbornness, when the question fell from the lips of Vela, the taller of the Valoran twin sisters. "Are you mated, human?" He froze, water flask halfway to his lips. Her silver eyes, unblinking, luminous, were mirrored by her twin, Keitha, flanking the doorway like statues of living metal. The question should have been simple, routine even, but something in the perfect symmetry of their stance and the intensity of their gaze made it feel like a trap. "Mated?" Marcus laughed nervously. "What? Like pandas? Do I look like I need a breeding program?" Silence fell. It was heavy, almost suffocating. The twins tilted their heads, Vela 7 degrees one way, Keitha 7 degrees the other, a mirrored motion that screamed coordination beyond mere mimicry. "You compare yourself to a creature requiring intervention for reproduction," Vela said, her voice even but sharp. "You claim dysfunction." "What?" I was joking," Marcus said. His words stumbled. "Humans do it when we're uncomfortable." The twins exchanged a glance. Marcus didn't need translation to feel the weight of it. He had crossed some invisible line. Keitha's formal name in his mind now, reached for a small device on her belt. Not a weapon. A reporting tool. "This must be documented," Marcus said under his breath, realizing the gravity of the cultural misstep. Vela stepped closer. One step. In the shuttle's confines, it was a mile. Why would this cause discomfort if you have nothing to hide? Marcus had walked straight into a diplomatic nightmare. The mission had been thrown together in 48 hours, and the briefing hadn't mentioned that discussing mating status was a formal ritual, or that any deviation could be considered a declaration of courtship. "I'm not hiding anything," Marcus said carefully. "I'm single, unmated. I just made a joke." The twins' unison response was chilling. "Unmated, confirmed. Your joke was interpreted as a request for assistance in courtship." Marcus froze. His knees threatened to give out. He was being accused of proposing marriage without realizing it. "No, that's not." Stage by stage, the twins outlined his accidental declarations. Mortification, denials, awkward gestures, all signs of Valoran courtship, performed perfectly without intent. Marcus was horrified. "How do I undo this?" he asked. The answer was simple yet terrifying: formal withdrawal. But the conditions were complicated, tied to customs he didn't understand. Still, the twins sat, their metallic presence now less threatening, more deliberate. They explained why he had been chosen. Not his skills, not his career, not his connections, but something far rarer: authenticity, imperfection, and genuine emotional reaction. By the end of the explanation, Marcus understood the truth. These women had manipulated an entire diplomatic mission to be alone with him. They had asked about his mating status within hours to see if he could be a suitable mate, not for convenience, not for ceremony, but for him. "I have questions," Marcus said. "We expect nothing less," Vela replied, her eyes softening slightly. He spent the next hours learning the Valoran examination period. Shared quarters, shared meals, observation, challenges designed to reveal true character under stress, and the potential for emotional and neurological bonding, a connection humans couldn't even imagine. Keitha handed him a steaming cup of amber liquid. "Every candidate has been trained since childhood. Every gesture, every word, calculated for political advantage." "And I am different?" he asked. "You failed spectacularly at the rules. You panicked. You apologized. You were honest. That's what makes you rare," Vela explained. The choice was his: return to neutrality or enter a 47-day examination period that could decide not only the future of Valoran leadership but the shape of 3 lives intertwined forever. By the 7th day, Marcus had tentatively agreed to the examination. He shared quarters with the twins, navigating the strange intimacy of their synchronized presence. He learned the small details: Vela's preference for scalding tea, Keitha's for lukewarm. Their laughter, disagreements, and reconciliations revealed the depth of their connection, a bond that was both shared and individual. Then the message came. Vela read it first, her expression flat. Father is dead. The words were simple, but their weight was monumental. The high seat was vacant. Succession protocols demanded a bonded mate within 14 days, or Regent Rethik would assume control. Marcus felt the panic tighten in his chest. Everything was at stake: reforms, alliances, the fragile progress of years. You would accept coercion? Marcus asked quietly. No, Vela said. We cannot ask you to bond under duress. You must choose freely. I want to choose, he said. But I need to understand everything. The challenges, the risks, the bond itself. The twins explained the neurological integration, the shared consciousness, the emotional exposure. Marcus realized the depth of what they were asking. His identity would expand, merging with theirs, becoming part of a triad unlike anything human history had ever seen. I accept, he whispered. Vela's hand found his. Keitha's presence warmed his back. Together, they began the bonding ritual. The chamber was luminous, woven with threads of silver and white, soft yet alive, pulsing with a quiet light. Marcus lay between them as Vela and Keitha guided him through the connection. Eyes closed, breaths synchronized, he felt their minds fold into his. Love, fear, hope, grief, all surged like tides through him. He saw their lives, the burdens of power, the compromises and decisions that had weighed on them for decades. They felt his loneliness, his hidden fears, and the desperate yearning for connection he had buried beneath a life of caution and professionalism. When the bond locked into place, Marcus gasped. He didn't just understand them, he felt them. Vela's fierce protectiveness, Keitha's tender curiosity, their love for each other, and now for him, it was overwhelming. Hours blurred. He experienced time differently within their shared consciousness. Secrets, histories, truths, all laid bare and accepted. He realized the vastness of what had been offered and the depth of what he had agreed to. When he opened his eyes, the chamber glowed golden. Dawn, or some reflection of their joined minds. Vela and Keitha watched him, their eyes holding flecks of familiar warmth, as if their shared bond had transformed the metallic sheen into something living, familiar, and achingly human. Marcus knew, in that instant, that nothing would ever be the same. He had entered a world that was both alien and profoundly intimate, a world where hearts, minds, and lives would intertwine across species boundaries. A world where he could finally be seen, not as a translator, not as a human, but as a partner to the heirs of Valoran power. And he was ready. The first light of the bonding chamber was warm and golden, washing over Marcus as he opened his eyes. Vela and Keitha were already awake, their silver eyes now flecked with hues that reflected the first morning on their hidden ship. The room still hummed with the energy of the neurological bond, soft pulses of shared consciousness rippling through Marcus's mind. Everything felt larger, brighter, more real. Not just him, not just them, but all three of them together. Marcus sat up slowly, aware of the subtle weight of shared awareness. Every thought, every memory, every emotion flowed in subtle streams between them. The twins' presence was no longer overwhelming, it was comforting. He reached out, brushing a hand across Vela's, then Keitha's. They both responded instantly, their minds and hearts intertwining with his in a way humans could barely understand. You feel different, Marcus said softly, his voice trembling. Not different in the way of pain or confusion, but different as in alive. More alive than he had ever felt. Vela's gaze softened. You are not just awake, Marcus. You are present. Keitha added, and aware. More aware than we imagined a human could be. You adapt well to the bond. Marcus laughed quietly, a sound full of relief. I guess humans have a way of surviving, even when we don't understand the rules. Even when the rules are insane. Vela's lips curved almost imperceptibly. Rules were never meant to bind you. The bond, the courtship, the succession, these are tests, yes. But they also reveal truth. And you've proven truthful, even in confusion. Marcus rubbed his eyes. Truthful, because I didn't know what else to be. Keitha leaned closer. Truthful because you could not hide, even if you tried. You cannot lie to yourself or to us. That is the first step toward understanding, toward trust. Outside, the stars of the consortium sector stretched endlessly across the void. Marcus felt a strange sense of ownership over that emptiness, as though the galaxy itself had paused to witness this moment. For a human translator thrust into interstellar politics, the thought was absurd. And yet, absurdity had become his life. The first challenge of the day arrived with a subtle alert on the chamber's interface. Vela's expression stiffened as she read it. "An emergency transmission from the High Seat Council," she said quietly. "They are aware of Father's passing and are demanding immediate presentation of heirs with a bonded partner." Marcus swallowed. So, 14 days. And now it's essentially 2 days less. Keitha nodded grimly. "Correct. Reek, our regent uncle, will move quickly to consolidate power. If we do not present a bonded mate, he will claim authority, dismantling every reform our father implemented. He has allies across 8 systems ready to act. It will be a bloodless coup if we falter, but still a coup." Marcus took a deep breath, feeling the twin currents of fear and determination flowing through the bond. "And the exam period? The 47 days you mentioned?" "Condensed," Vela admitted. "We will have to accelerate the cohabitation, the tests of compatibility, the mental and emotional evaluations. It will be exhausting, perhaps dangerous." "Dangerous?" Marcus asked, the word sharp on his tongue. Keitha's eyes met his. "You are human. Your physiology is untested under rapid neurological bonding stress. We cannot predict fully how your mind will react when every thought and feeling is shared continuously under duress." Marcus leaned back, feeling the enormity of it press down on him. "So, there's a chance I could die?" Vela shook her head slowly. "We do not know. But the bond is strong, and we will monitor. You are not alone." The reassurance was enough to steady him. "Then let's begin. There's no turning back anyway." The next 12 hours became a blur of activity and shared consciousness. The Valoran twins pushed Marcus into simulations designed to test strategy, emotion, and cooperation. In the first trial, a holographic simulation of a hostile negotiation with a rival house forced Marcus to act with Vela and Keitha simultaneously. Every decision, every word, every gesture was analyzed not just by him, but by the twins as well. The bond allowed him to anticipate their thoughts and intentions, yet he still struggled with the speed at which their minds processed information. "You hesitate here," Vela observed in thought. Marcus felt her mind brushing his, noting every microsecond of doubt. I need context," he admitted. Keitha's tone was gentle, almost teasing. "Context is available in your mind now, Marcus. You have access to it. Trust the bond." The simulation ended with Marcus successfully navigating the negotiation, but the strain left him shaking. Every fiber of his being hummed with exhaustion. Yet even in that fatigue, he felt connected, not alone. Vela's reassurance and Keitha's quiet laughter followed him into rest periods, and the 3 slept in close contact, their minds weaving together like threads of a single tapestry. On the 3rd day, the twins introduced another trial, one designed to reveal emotional resilience. They recreated a scenario of a planetary revolt against Valoran authority. Holographic citizens protested violently, demanding justice, and Marcus was forced to choose between enforcing order and risking lives or negotiating a compromise that might expose weakness. Marcus froze for a moment, heart hammering. I don't want to harm them." Vela's thought pressed gently against his. "Nor do we." Keitha's added, "Nor do we wish to fail you." The decision had to be made, and he made it. Negotiating a compromise, he diffused the violence while maintaining order. The twins' minds hummed with approval, and for the first time, Marcus realized that he was not just being evaluated, he was contributing, shaping outcomes with more weight than any human diplomat had known. By the 5th day, the political crisis became imminent. Reek had begun moving ships and personnel toward the capital of the Valoran territories. Messages arrived, each one demanding immediate action and reporting alliances in play. Marcus, Vela, and Keitha had to navigate not just personal compatibility but a galaxy teetering on the edge of a power vacuum. Marcus sat in the command chamber, the twins flanking him. This is insane," he muttered. I'm a translator, not a ruler. Not a strategist for a star empire. Vela leaned close, her silver eyes locking onto his. You are more than a translator now. You are part of us. And together, we are more than we are alone. Trust the bond. Keitha placed a hand on his shoulder. You will not fail. Not because you are perfect. Because we are with you. The final trial came on the 7th day. The council demanded formal presentation and proof of bond. There was no time to lose. Marcus, Vela, and Keitha moved in synchronized preparation. Each step, each gesture, each word was now seamless. The bond allowed Marcus to anticipate needs, to read emotions, to act as though he had trained for this his entire life. The presentation itself was breathtaking. In the grand chamber of the council, Marcus stood between the twin heirs. Their presence radiated authority, tempered by the bond that now connected them irrevocably. The council's scrutiny was intense, centuries of tradition pressed against him. Yet Marcus felt no fear. He was not alone. Vela spoke first, her voice resonating in the chamber. We present our chosen partner. Not for convenience. Not for performance. But for connection. For truth. Marcus Chen has been tested, and he has chosen to stand with us, with full awareness of what this entails. Keitha followed seamlessly. The bond is formed, neurological and emotional. He has accepted the responsibilities and risks. He is now recognized as part of our shared life, and together, we are the heirs of the first house. The council was silent for a long moment. Then the oldest member, a stern Valoran elder, spoke. Never has a human been included in the succession of the first house. And yet, the bond is real. The choice is made. We recognize it. Relief and triumph coursed through Marcus, Vela, and Keitha simultaneously. He had survived the examination, the trials, and the accelerated courtship. More than survived, he had proven that humanity, when authentic and courageous, could compete with even the most disciplined and ancient of species. Weeks passed in the quiet aftermath. The Valoran twins and Marcus navigated their new shared life, both personally and politically. Reek's attempts at regency were blocked by the twins' combined authority and Marcus's unexpected insight into human and Valoran strategy. Trade agreements flourished, reforms continued, and a galaxy that had braced for upheaval found itself on a path toward stability. Marcus often reflected on the absurdity of the journey. 18 hours translating alien contracts had led to a joke about pandas, which led to a courtship ritual, which led to a neurological bond that changed the course of an interstellar empire. He laughed quietly to himself, then felt the twins' thoughts brush against his. Playful, amused, warm. Never underestimate chaos, Keitha's voice echoed in his mind. Or honesty, Vela added. And human adaptability, Marcus replied, smiling. Together, they looked out at the stars, hearts and minds intertwined. A human, and two alien heirs, bonded beyond species, beyond culture, beyond expectation. They were more than a translator and royalty. They were partners. Guardians. Heirs of a galaxy now shaped by their union. Marcus's voice, thought, and soul flowed with theirs. Let's see what comes next, he said. And in the silence of space, the bond responded with warmth, laughter, and a shared certainty. They were ready for anything.